What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Lawyer You Know. It's Peter Tragos, and today we're giving a Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie update as stuff is happening. Gabby Petito's parents have filed a lawsuit against Brian Laundrie's parents. We've heard some rumblings across the state that this may be coming, and it seems as of now it's just a lawsuit against Brian Laundrie's parents, no law enforcement or any other organizations. And if you followed along with this case with us over the past year or however long it's been of the tragic story of Gabby Petito, traveled out west with her fiance, Brian Laundrie, was presumed missing. There was a missing persons report. Everybody was looking for her. Then Brian Laundrie disappeared and was found later dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. A journal was found where he admitted to causing her death, and we found out it was by strangulation. But I've been seeing some quotes leak out from this complaint saying there was blunt force trauma to the head and neck, and that they were suing the parents for recklessness and reckless disregard for everything Gabby Petito and her parents were going through. And what we were kind of prognosticating and guessing may come down the pipe if there was a civil lawsuit is exactly what this lawsuit sounds like. Negligent infliction of emotional distress or intentional infliction of emotional distress. It's kind of what we guessed would happen and what we would see from Gabby Petito's parents against Brian Laundrie's parents. And we are going to do a deep dive into that complaint today. So if you haven't already, hit the like button. And if you don't subscribe to our video, now is as good a time as ever to jump over, subscribe to our page, because we are going to take another deep dive into the complaint here filed by Gabby Petito's parents. All right, so amount of the claim, and this is a civil cover sheet, okay? And the amount of the claim is interesting because it's different than the jurisdictional amount that's pled in the actual complaint. This doesn't actually mean anything except that you're leaving yourself open for damages of more than $100,000, which is what they checked the box here for the amount of claim. The type of case is negligence, okay, which leads me to believe it's going to be some kind of negligent infliction of emotional distress. I would have gone with that. I may have even gone with intentional infliction of emotional distress. We'll see if they end up adding something about that too. The remedies sought are monetary, which is money, not declaratory relief. It is not a class action lawsuit. Notice a known related case, no, and they are demanding a jury trial, okay? And this was literally filed yesterday, March 10th, and today is the first time we've actually seen a copy of this complaint because I couldn't find it anywhere yesterday. So Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt are Gabby Petito's parents, and Christopher and Roberta Laundrie are Brian Laundrie's parents. Let's look at this complaint together. Comes now. Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt, by and through their undersigned counsel, file this complaint against the Laundries. It's an action for damages that exceed $30,000 because that's the limit in Florida to get to circuit court, which is the higher court. That's why they picked $30,000. It doesn't mean they're only asking for $30,000. It also doesn't mean they're only asking for $100,000. Venue is proper in Sarasota County. Court has jurisdiction. Plaintiff Joseph Petito resides in Vero Beach. Plaintiff Nicole Schmidt resides of Blue Point, New York. Interesting. The mother of Gabby Petito and the father of Gabby Petito, because she's remarried, I guess. Defendants Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie are residents of Northport, Florida. Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito became engaged to marry on or about July 2nd, 2020. Now, as we're going to get into, every complaint's written a little bit differently. Sometimes they separate out venue, jurisdiction, causes of action, facts. But this one didn't. We're going to get into the factual allegations now here, starting with paragraph 7, and we'll see if any facts come out that we don't already know, like some quotes and some leaks were coming out to the blunt force trauma to the head and neck, and so on and so forth. On July 2nd, 2021, Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito left New York in a van owned by Gabby Petito to take a trip to the western United States, which was expected to last for several months. A lot of us know these facts. We're going to read through them anyway. Prior to the trip taken by Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, Joe Petito and Nicole Schmidt and Christopher and Roberta Laundrie had a cordial relationship. Gabby Petito had hopes of becoming a travel influencer, a van lifer, and document her cross-country travels on social media sites such as YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. During the course of the aforementioned trip, Gabby Petito called her family almost daily, including her parents, Joe Petito and Nicole Schmidt, and her siblings. The last communication that Gabby Petito had with Joe Petito was on August 21st. The last communication she had with Nicole Schmidt was on August 27th. It is believed that on August 27th, Brian Laundrie murdered Gabby Petito. The cause of her death was blunt force injuries to the head and neck with manual strangulation. So there is the quote that was leaked. A little bit of additional information than to just manual strangulation. Gabby Petito was 22 years of age at the time of her death. Brian Laundrie murdered Gabby Petito. Brian Laundrie sent text messages back and forth between his cell phone and Gabby's cell phone in an effort to hide the fact that she was deceased. We all know about that. He was texting other people from her cell phone, trying to keep up some kind of storyline that she was still alive, even though he knew that she was dead. On August 27, 2021, it is believed that Brian Laundrie sent a text message to Nicole Schmidt in which he referred to Gabby Petito's grandfather, Stan, by name. Gabby never called her grandfather that name or by his first name. It is believed that, and therefore averred, that on or about August 28, 2021, Brian Laundrie advised his parents, Chris Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie, that he had murdered Gabby Petito on that same date. Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie spoke with attorney Steve Bertolino and sent him a retainer on September 2nd, 2021. Now, some interesting facts there in paragraph 18. It is believed and therefore averred. That doesn't mean it's confirmed. Doesn't seem like they actually have evidence of that. It's something that's like circumstantially they believe based on other things that they know. It also says they have a retainer agreement on September 2nd. I don't know if they have that retainer agreement. It would be interesting. How Bertolino, the Laundrie's lawyer, what role he plays in this is probably going to be something that we're going to have to keep an eye on as we've known throughout the process. But we're already hearing some facts. It doesn't seem like they have confirmed yet, but they plan on confirming it with discovery would be my guess. On August 30th, 2021, Brian Laundrie sent a text message from Gabby Petito's cell phone to Nicole Schmidt stating there was no service in Yosemite Park in an effort to deceive Nicole into believing Gabby Petito was still alive. On September 1st, 2021, Brian Laundrie returned to the home of his parents, driving Gabby Petito's van. After this point in time, there was no contact between the Petitos and the Laundries. From August 27th until September 19th, while Gabby Petito's remains were found at the Spread Creek dispersed camping area in Wyoming, plaintiffs were extremely distraught and were attempting to locate Gabby Petito. Now we're getting into some of the emotional distress and the damages that the Petitos felt. While Gabby Petito's family was suffering, the Laundrie family went on vacation to Fort DeSoto on September 6th and 7th, 2021. This is where they're inflicting emotional distress, maybe not on purpose, maybe not intentionally, but they are negligently inflicting emotional distress. And under normal circumstances, this is a very difficult cause of action on its own to go forward and be successful in. But based on how the country reacted to Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie and this whole situation, how they want justice and they feel like Brian Laundrie robbed them of that, I feel like they're going to be pretty successful in this claim. In an effort to avoid any contact with Nicole Schmidt on or about September 10th, Roberta Laundrie blocked Nicole Schmidt on her cellular phone such that neither phone calls nor texts could be delivered, and she blocked her on Facebook. Interesting. On September 14th, 2021, with full knowledge that Gabby Petito had been murdered by their son, Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie, through their lawyer, issued the following statement. It is our understanding that a search has been organized for Miss Petito in our near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Miss Petito is successful and that Miss Petito is reunited with her family. On September, and again, they're claiming that at this point when they're releasing these statements, they knew already that Brian Laundrie murdered Gabby Petito, yet they're still making statements like this publicly. On September 16, 2021, attorney Richard Stafford, on behalf of Gabby Petito's family, issued a letter to Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie as follows. We are writing this letter to ask you to help find our beautiful daughter. We understand you are going through a difficult time and your instinct is to protect your son is strong. We ask you to put yourselves in our shoes. We haven't been able to sleep or eat and our lives are falling apart. Damages, emotional distress. We believe you know the location where Brian left Gabby. We beg you to tell us as a parent, how could you let us go through this pain and not help us? As a parent, how can you put Gabby's younger brothers and sisters through this? Gabby lived with you for over a year. She was going to be your daughter-in-law. How can you keep her location hidden? We were both at Jim and Nicole's house. You were both so happy that Brian and Gabby got engaged and were planning to spend their lives together. Please, if you or your family have any decency left, please tell us where Gabby's located. Tell us if we are even looking in the right place. All we want is Gabby to come home. Please make that happen. Again, very, very, very good description of the damages and what they're going through in real time. Despite the fact that Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt implored Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie to tell them if their daughter was alive, and if she was not, where her remains were located, Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie refused to respond to either Joseph Petito or Nicole Schmidt or law enforcement. Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie instructed that all contacts were to be made through their attorney, Stephen Bertolino, and he issued no comment when asked about Gabby Petito's well-being. While Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt were desperately searching for information concerning their daughter, Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie were keeping the whereabouts of Brian Laundrie secret, and it is believed were making arrangements for him to leave the country. Not leave the county, not leave the state, but leave the country. As many of you who follow our page and commented on these videos said, you think they're trying to make him disappear and get out of the country. Well, the Petitos agree with you, and their lawyers putting in here, again, it doesn't seem like they have evidence of that, but they may be able to infer it off of other evidence or facts that they do know. Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie knew of the mental suffering and anguish of Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt and knew that they could alleviate, at least in part, such mental suffering and anguish by disclosing what they knew about the well-being and the location of the remains of Gabby Petito, yet they repeatedly refused to do so. In doing so, Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie acted with malice or great indifference to the rights of Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt. Now, that language sounds more like intentional infliction of emotional distress versus negligent infliction of emotional distress. Intentional infliction can get punitive damages, and you can really hammer somebody for how horrible they were and really focus on the defendant's conduct. And negligent, it was just accidental, and it was negligent that they were causing this emotional distress. And again, it's important to point out, actually, let me save this till the end. Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie exhibited extreme and outrageous conduct, which constitutes behavior under the circumstances which goes beyond all possible bounds of decency and is regarded as shocking, atrocious, and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. As a direct and proximate result of the willfulness and maliciousness of Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie, Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt had been caused to suffer pain and suffering, mental anguish, inconvenience, loss of capacity for enjoyment of life, experienced in the past and to be experienced in the future. Where plaintiffs Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt respectfully request this honorable court to enter judgment in their favor and against the defendants, Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie, and award them just compensation for the damages they have suffered, together with costs and such other relief as the court deems just and appropriate. So, first off, it's important to point out that the Laundrie parents did not cause the death of Gabby Petito, so they cannot collect damages for the wrongful death of Gabby Petito. They did not do that, had nothing to do with that. So specifically what they're asking for is the pain and suffering that they caused as a result of not telling them about Gabby's whereabouts, not telling them Brian murdered Gabby, not helping them find Brian, and what they had to go through over those days, not knowing if she was dead or alive or where she was. And they say into the future, and what they mean by into the future is they're going to have to relive that, what it was like for that search, what it was like to go through that, how miserable it was, how painful it was, how just emotionally taxing and stressful it was for them to go through that at that time, and that will stay with them forever. So I do think they have a claim for that. One of the issues is, as I'm looking at the complaint, I would probably file a motion for a more definite statement of some sort, because the cause of action, I'd like to know what specific cause of action they're filing it under and what those elements are that they have to prove. It's kind of vague, in my opinion, as I look at complaints. And I would, if I just read the complaint, I would have guessed it was intentional infliction of emotional distress. But as we looked at the civil cover sheet in the very beginning, which I'll just share it again real quick here now, but for this, so I would have thought, as I said, it was intentional infliction of emotional distress, except for if you look at the circuit court, negligence is what they checked. So if it was intentional, I would have put that in the complaint and actually listed that cause of action so that there was no confusion as to whether it was negligent infliction of emotional distress, intentional infliction of emotional distress, or maybe even both. You could plead 2 counts. Count 1, negligent infliction of emotional distress. Count 2, intentional infliction of emotional stress. Again, in the wherefore clause, where they are basically asking for their damages, they do not ask for punitive damages, which doesn't necessarily indicate it's not intentional infliction of emotional distress, because in order to plead punitive damages, you have to have leave of the court, and you have to basically bring facts that show it rises to the level to get punitive damages. So that doesn't necessarily throw me off as far as an intentional infliction goes. So I think this is a very interesting complaint. I think we're going to learn a lot throughout this process. There were some facts in there that we didn't know, or maybe we weren't sure of, and that they're going to get to the bottom of. I think there's definitely facts in there that they don't have evidence of yet, but they are likely to get it through discovery. I think we're going to find out more about that journal that Brian Laundrie had. I think they should be able to get access to it as a result of this case. We'll see if they do. This is definitely something that's going to be interesting to follow. So make sure, if you're interested in this case, you let me know in the comments what you think about this case, what questions you have. And after hearing this complaint, and talking about whether it was intentional infliction of emotional distress or negligent infliction, which do you think? Do you think what the Laundrie parents did was on purpose to hurt Gabby Petito and her parents, or do you think it was accidental or negligent in that they were protecting their son and doing what they could, and a result of that was hurting Gabby Petito's parents? And so in the comments, write negligent or intentional based on what kind of emotional distress that they inflicted on the Petito parents, as far as you are concerned, from what you know about the facts and from what you just heard and read in this complaint. And we will continue covering this case as long as you're interested. And you can show me you're interested by commenting and liking the video. But for now, that's all we've got. Until next time. Thanks for watching this episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you like this content, please share it with your friends. Make sure you subscribe to our page and like our videos. If you want some interaction, get in the comments and we'll be sure to get back to you. If you want to know any more information about our firm or this page, you can find out in the description or visit tragoslaw.com. We post multiple times throughout the week, so make sure you hit that bell so you can get the notification and not miss out on the next episode.